What? You okay?
No, I just tapped it. I didn't know if you could hear it.
I mean, I did, but I was just making. I thought you shocked yourself. I just heard that. I was like, "Ah, no, I've killed him." Welcome to another episode of Chewing the Fat. I am your host, Big Rob. Thank you so much for tuning in, downloading, following, however you got this into your ear holes. I really appreciate that. Also, thank you to everyone who has bought me a coffee at chewingthefatbr.com to help the show keep going. I really appreciate that. Of course, all the ratings and the reviews as well. It just really means so much to me that other people are really kind of getting what this is all about and really appreciating that. So it does encourage me to keep going. Today, I am really excited about my guest. I've been trying to get him on for, well, at least I asked him to come on for a couple of months ago, and we've got some time, and I am so excited to welcome to the show, Krys Bailey. Hello, sir.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Just dandy. It's your birthday month.
It is. It's Robtober.
It's Robtober. When we having breakfast?
We need to do that. That is the tradition. You know, it's just that I have to get up so early to get to the tradition. I don't know that that's as big of a problem for you as it is for me, because you seem to be up and at 'em, or either that you're continuing on
That's
from
usually
previous.
the case, right?
So, yeah, we'll definitely put that on the calendar and have some breakfast. Krys Bailey is the executive director of Le Chat Noir here in Augusta, Georgia, the Black Box Theater of renown around the area, and also one of the most genuine, loving, helpful, artistic people that I do know. So,
stop.
No, I'm serious, man. Thank you so much for coming on and for all you do for this community as far as the arts go, in bringing theater to this town. But it's more than just theater. You educate, you help people, whatever their artistic.
You must be talking about all the folks that work at Le Chat.
I do. That's what I mean. It's like you hire them. You hire them, but then
like the useless hole that surrounds myself with a yummy donut.
but you do, and I mean, as far as like, opening up your doors for film productions and people that need a space to do things that maybe there aren't other places to be able to do that around. And, it's really cool to have a resource like Le Chat here in Augusta, but also to have a person like you who has the knowledge and the heart to do that type of stuff.
All right. I'll give you another part in a play.
Thanks. I appreciate that. That's what this is all about. This is my audition process.
You want something, isn't it?
It's like, so now that I've said that, I just need the theater for a couple of days. No, but I mean that seriously.
I appreciate that, man.
And I don't want to turn this into some, where I'm just, because I'm not blowing smoke. I mean it genuinely. I enjoy the time that we have to spend together, whether it be Robtober breakfasts or in the theater or, at
our bad Christmas or inappropriate Christmas movies.
Inappropriate Christmas movie challenges where you, you take shots at, what was it? Saxophone solos that we did shots at.
Lethal Weapon.
Yeah. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a friend. And thank you for what you bring to this town and this community.
Oh, thank you, man. Thanks for having me on the show, and yeah, thanks for the kind words. But
yeah. So what was that impetus? You're not from Augusta.
Oh no. Originally from St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh, not Germany.
Wherever the other one is. Yeah. And
I guess that was Russia. St. Petersburg, Russia. Yeah.
And the ill twist of fate that brought us here. Dad got transferred, and middle of high school, so. I would have lived more of my life here than anywhere else. So this is home.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
And you've made it a home.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't leave Augusta for anything. I mean, I always say it's a nice place to live, but you wouldn't want to visit here. But yeah, no, I love this town.
So you came here, military family moved here, right?
Oh no, railroad family, but yeah,
railroad family. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
didn't like it at first. But the friends that I made when I first got here are still my friends 30 years later. So that's crazy the way that works out. But yeah. Went to school here, graduated here, got a job here. Everybody that I met that gave me jobs elsewhere and going doing jobs here and there and abroad are folks that I met. You know, the Imperial used to be real hopping about 20 years ago. The Players did like 2 weeks. The Opera did like 3 weeks. We had a crazy prestigious opera in town. And of course the ballet, Ron Colton's ballet, they were in the theater for 2 to 3 weeks and all doing, top notch productions. So you'd meet all kinds of people. They would bring in crew folks from hell all over.
Right.
And a lot of the locals, that were worth a damn would get hired to go other places with these people. But yeah, and I met Trey through Robert Coleman at the college, and Trey Maxwell of Tracer Audio gave me my first job at 19, and our paths are still intertwined to this day. Yeah, he's a great dude. Yeah,
for sure. So was it a personal passion of yours, theater and that type of work, or was it just it was a job and then you fell in love with it, or did you have the love before you got into the theater?
That's crazy. I was up at Augusta University. It was called Augusta College back then.
Oh yeah.
And I was already working on my second or third major. I don't remember what it was. I went to school long enough to be a doctor.
Nice.
Yeah. School 7 years to get a 4-year degree. But I was walking across campus and I saw Jeff Herman out there making a set. And I was like, he was carving foam. I was like, that looks cool. So I started helping him. I wasn't even in the theater program. I was just helping out with Jeff. And I thought theater was stupid. I thought it was Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland and goofy people dressed up in ridiculous costumes making asses of themselves over and over again.
Right.
Singing and dancing and just, I didn't like it at all.
Right.
Was not my cup of tea. And I went and saw, I think the first play I saw up there, Gene Muto directed, Terry Luke was in it, Tony, I can't remember his last name. You know Tony though. I can't remember all that, but they're in a play called As Is, and it just blew me away that theater could be about something important and change your perspective, or it was cathartic. It was amazing. I was completely and utterly blown away.
Yeah,
I did not know theater could be like that, and I was addicted from that point on. Yeah. And I met a lot of really cool. I met Douglas Joyner. I met Tommy Cooper. I met a lot of great folks, and Dale. I made Dale Thomas. A lot of good folks in that group. Again, still connected with those guys today.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what became my love affair with theater. And then I couldn't get enough of it. I was either in shows or working back shows. And then I met a fella that he would eventually go on to teach at Yale. He teach theater at Yale, and that was Robert Coleman. He drafted me to come work with him on professional gigs.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I met Trey through him, and I think Trey got a gig going on the road, and I was running the Imperial by 21, I think.
Wow.
So, yeah. But yeah, that was the beginning of that.
Yeah.
And when Doug went away to VCU, and eventually Muto moved on to Greener Pastures, the guy that directed it at the college. So there was kind of a hole for theater like that. Contemporary drama.
Right. Right. Not the saccharine sweet musical stuff.
Yeah, nothing to say. There's nothing. I'm not. Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. Yeah, and there's people that do it in this town so much better than we ever would or could. So that's just not the. But they were already doing it and doing it well.
Right.
So anyway, it was kind of left a void after everybody kind of got scattered to the winds, and then Doug came back into town, and I had an art gallery at the time, and he said, "Do you want to do Lee Blessing's 2 rooms?" And we did it in my art gallery. We just bought a bunch of stuff from a church, some chairs. We bought all the chairs from a church. We didn't think it would go over too well. But by the last night, it was standing room. There were folks standing in every corner.
Oh wow!
And I went over like gangbusters. And it's a 4-person play about a hostage situation. And again, people had already gone back to Steel Magnolias and The Odd Couple over and over and over again.
Right. Right.
So, but no, it went over really well, and we were like, we should do this as regularly.
Yeah, yeah.
But the impetus for Le Chat was Thomas Cooper. He handed Doug a play called Killer Joe. We loved it. we were like, we got to do this play. Mm-hmm. So we were just going to rent out one of the many dilapidated buildings downtown,
right,
and do the show. And it just so, and in that time, which was a lengthy amount of time, the building that we were originally going to rent ended up being the one we bought because the owner passed. This sounds macabre, but the owner passed away, and his kids couldn't afford the building anymore, and they couldn't afford the taxes, so they just kind of unloaded it. It was in bad shape too. So.
Right.
But yeah, and that was the start of that.
And there's a pretty cool history of that building, though.
Oh God, yeah. It's
right
1880. It's like over 150 years old.
Yeah, right there, 8th and Ellis in downtown Augusta. It was a speakeasy in Prohibition times, correct?
It was originally built in the 1880s as a dry goods place. I'm sure a historian, if he's listening, can fact check me on it and tell me where I went wrong. But yeah, and during Prohibition, it was a speakeasy. The Toomey brothers, and the reason I say this is because some of his relatives still live in Augusta, and they came to the theater and they told us the story. Oh, wow. We heard it from a couple of different sources, but we did get to meet Gigi Toomey. Used to come to our shows, but a couple of Irish brothers named Toomey, the Toomey brothers, ran a really shabby soda shop out of the front, and they had a speakeasy in the back. And apparently they had their own brand of moonshine that they ran all over Augusta.
Oh, wow.
And then during I think it was the 40s and 50s, there was a widow that ran numbers out of the joint. But because everybody from the mayor to the sheriff did their gambling there, she never got busted. She had like a 20-year reign.
Wow.
And then, of course, it was, I think, a porno theater in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And then it got closed down for a while. And then it was... Infernal Racket. Harry Grimes opened up a vinyl store and where the lobby is now. And then I don't remember who opened it up. They opened up the Capri, instead of the Capri Cinema, the porno theater, they opened up a punk joint. Mm-hmm. And that, I believe it changed hands a few times. And then, and of course, Andrew Benjamin opened up Pano Gallery in the what we call the third space.
So, oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. And then it went empty for a long time, and the ceiling just rotted, and then the floor subsequently rotted, and then we got a hold of it.
Right.
So
that's been for about how long now? You guys have been in that space?
16 years.
16 years. Okay. And in that time, you've done an amazing stuff with that. I remember it must not have been long after I had come back to Augusta from Birmingham that I found Le Chat as a theater. Didn't know anybody. I had intentions of coming back into town and actually trying to dive into the theater community, and because I knew Ryan Abel and
that guy,
that guy, because nobody knows who he is. He got me plugged in with the Augusta Players. And my first show with them was Jekyll and Hyde. Richard Justice was directing. But during that time, it's like, when you get that bug, like you say, it's not just about performing. It's about being in the theater, seeing what else is out there, absorbing, taking that stuff in. And I remember one October coming to the, I'm going to mess up this name, but it's when the theater as it is now is the longer shotgun type, but this is when everything was horizontal, where you would walk in the entrance and the stage was right across from you where the side door is now. Yeah. And it was the Grand Guignol.
Oh yeah.
When you guys did that,
goofing around for Halloween.
Yeah.
The guys finally let me do my own show, and I did a blood.
It was, and you had the splash zone that was, it said it was like the first two rows, but let's face it kind of hit the wall. Yeah. It was everywhere was a splash zone in that, but it was great to see a different type of theater. It was the stuff that, like I said, that just wasn't around, that you couldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah.
I think that's what you guys do so well there.
Well, thanks.
And it's very, it's not done for shock or for just because it's different. It's good theater, and it's theater that you don't find in a lot of places.
Oh yeah. We picked the plays. we read the Oliviers, the Tonys, the Pulitzers, and all the runners up, and we usually go from there. I mean, they're good plays. They're award winners all over the world, but nobody in Augusta's. A majority of the plays we've done, it's the first time they've been done in Augusta.
Right.
But yeah, we pick them just because they're incredibly written. If it's good on the page, it'll be good on the stage. It's kind of what we go for. If it's crap on the page, then there's no sense even pursuing it, because it doesn't matter how many good actors you put on it or what kind of flash you put on it, it's still going to suck.
Right.
So, but no, we go for good scripts, and that's always served us pretty well.
Yeah.
And we just don't shy away from it. Anything, if it's like, ooh, there's going to be bloodshed, or I can't believe they said that, or some guy gets stabbed, or there's nudity or something. We don't let that keep us from telling the story. We've never worried about, what do we think is the audience going to think? We don't give a shit about that. If it's a good story, we just tell it.
Right. Right. And I think there is a very needed part of that, to not try to, I hate to say dumb something down for your audience, but to
make it more accessible.
Exactly. Make it more accessible. But the fact that you think highly enough of your audience to say, hey, we're going to put this on, we're going to do this an amazing show, and we're going to give you the whole show. We're not going to cut any corners. We're not going to try
change the words because we think it might offend someone.
Right. Because we're in the buckle of the Bible belt or whatever. We're going to do the show as written, as the author intended, as the playwright intended,
we have hats off to our audience. We have a very special audience. They're the type of people that like to be surprised. They like to be moved. And granted, they're a very small selection. That's why we have a small house. We couldn't fill a big house with fare like this. It's a lot of people like the familiar. They like to go see Steel Magnolias for the 50th time. They like, and that's fine. That's what a majority of the people, they feel comfort in that familiarity. They know what to expect. They get their yucks. Ours usually, the shows, unless they've seen them, unless they went to New York or something, or Atlanta maybe at Actors Express, this will be the first time, so they don't know what to expect.
Right.
And they like to be surprised. We dig that about our audience.
Yeah. And you have usually in your season, you usually do four or five plays, and usually wrap it up with like a musical. You do still do it, but it's Evil Dead the musical. Right. It's Bad Boy. It's not going to be Annie.
No. Well, like I said, other people do that, and they're already doing it extremely well.
Right.
We would do a heroin-soaked Annie, and it would go over like a lead balloon. But I mean, we'll tack, and we stay in our lane. We know a lot of the other theater groups; they're probably not going to touch something like Fun Home. So it's a serious play about. So we'll take on shows like that. And I think, even as goofy as Evil Dead and Avenue Q are, a lot of our friends around here, they're not going to take that on because of the cursing or because of some of the ridiculousn's that goes on in that.
But that's and I think, like you said, being able to offer something that's different, that's intelligent, that's well done, it helps people just grow as a person. So to offer that, what I mean, to expose them to something that they're not normally going to, and that's what I think it takes for growth mentally, spiritually. They may see, a Fun Home and connect with that story more than they would anything else, anywhere else, and again, nothing against any of the other stuff that's going on. There are people at those other shows that are connecting with things. But to be able to offer that, and then as an actor, it gives me an opportunity to grow and to stretch in roles too. That it's not always, a campy, sappy, whatever.
Yeah. And the space itself lends itself to a different style of acting. Like you can't be big. You have to be big at the Imperial or the Miller or over at the PAT. You got to be exaggerated, and in our space, it's so close. It's like film acting. You can be very honest, and you have to be. You have to be honest and sincere, or
it's going to come off as very fake.
Bad.
It's going to come off as very fake.
So, yeah, it's just, like I said, it's just different styles.
Yeah. Do you have, I know this is like, picking your favorite kid, but do you have something that you guys have done that is just really, you look back at that and you're like, man, not that you can never do anything better than that, but like you look back and you're like, man, that was just a great production, whether it have been the process going through it, the sets, the actors, the whatever, it just all came together in that lightning in a bottle that you just really love.
Man, those are really too many to name.
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound like
no.
I'm just like, because we have a pretty solid program, and then every once in a while lightning strikes, but it usually strikes once or twice a season.
Yeah.
And then, man, every couple of seasons we have one. I can name off the ones that were real bad.
Yeah. Okay.
I could name off the stinkers real quick.
Okay.
But I mean, some of them, my favorites, Top Dog Underdog was really good to me. Rules of Seconds was so much fun. And that was a play we got to do before anybody else did, because we got special permission from the author.
That's awesome.
And and of course Les Mis was, everybody was like, how are you going to do that show? And we're like, we're going to do it well.
Yeah.
We never had a hiccup or a stumble in that.
Yeah.
That entire cast was tight, well rehearsed. That thing came off like clockwork every night. Mm-hmm. That was our Evil Dead had a lot of possibilities for failure, but
right.
That came off without a hitch. Oh man, our Amadeus, our Killer Joe, our oh geez, man, Richard's Torch Song trilogy. Every one of those was a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of a lot of the work that's happened on that stage. Some of Doug's earlier plays, oh man, people still talk about them. People still talk about the GOAT and some of the stuff he did in the earlier seasons. So.
Yeah. As far as like, we're coming out of this quarantine, we're coming out of hibernation, we're coming out of COVID. It's still a very, real thing.
Yeah.
But, that was one of the big things is, Broadway shut down, theater shut down. We don't have that opportunity to interact and grow and learn and things like that. Obviously a small black box theater is going to get hit much harder than a larger, theater, as far as like, what may be, because you're depending on smaller audiences already.
Well, yeah, no, I would say because the mortgage payments, man, that's what I don't get about this shutdown stuff is the banks didn't have to shut down. They still want their mortgage. So we were like, all right, we got to shut down. And I understand that. I understand it's for the greater good. And I get that. Banks should have to shut down too.
Right.
Asking us to come up with money out of thin air was just crazy. But yeah, we survived it. And we were especially careful upon reopening. That was one of the most daunting things. We went on this city meeting. It was ridiculous. On the agenda was reopening with COVID measures. And this was, soon after the governor said, yeah, y'all can go ahead and reopen. I don't care. So there were like 50 people in there. There were like, from museums to venues to theaters. Everybody was in this one group. And we got to the agenda item that was, reopening with COVID measures, blah, blah, blah. And everybody was on there was like waiting to hear what we were supposed to do.
Like, what are the measures? Tell me.
And the city representative was like, all right, so here we are at COVID measures. So what are you guys doing? And it got real quiet. And there's this fella at the Morris, Kevin Grogan. He is just a gem. Like, I love the man. He's an amazing person. Again, another one that gives a lot to Augusta. It got real quiet, and he was the first to speak up. He said, "I think I might speak for all of us when I say we were under the impression you were going to tell us."
Right.
And everyone was like, "Yeah." My phone started blowing up with people I hadn't talked to in years, going, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Right.
Like, and people were like, "Yeah, we're not virologists. We're venue. We're entertainment people. We don't know what." Anyway, people started dropping off that call real quick, and it just became apparent that there's no plan.
Yeah,
it's all on. Just do whatever you can. So we adopted like COVID measures from like Chinese restaurants back during SARS and stuff. So and knock on wood, we didn't have an outbreak. We didn't have, we opened up with limited capacity and we wiped down surfaces, and we weren't even doing like big shows or rehearsed shows. We were doing improv. I said, that's what we're going to do. We're going to lean on improv. I told the kids, I said, cause we even rehearse in 2 different groups. That's how cool we are. We have 2 different groups that don't really, we try to keep separate. And if somebody had to drop out because someone at work was exposed and they had to quarantine themselves, we could still go on stage with, down a player or 2 or down half the cast, right. And nobody in the audience would know.
Right.
So that's kind of what we did. And then, man, grace of God, man, every time things started to get lean, something would happen. Netflix rented our joint, and that Mel Gibson movie came and rented our joint.
Wow.
And oddly enough, every time things started to look a little bleak, just something would come in and take care of us. So
that's great. That's great. So have you started shows again yet? Have you decided a season? Have you looked at what you're going to do?
Yeah, I got the short stack of plays that have unit sets, because again, I don't want to go too crazy and then something happens and we're canceling again, because my God, that was we did that once or twice. Had to cancel a show, refund money, stand out in front of the theater in case anybody showed up expecting the show. Like, that's it, not doing it. And then some of my friends were like, yeah, we're going to do our show. And I was like, you sure about that? And then, of course, they delayed and postponed and then canceled and postponed and canceled.
Right.
Or their whole cast got freaking COVID. So, and I was like, all right, well, that's why I didn't announce any of this stuff.
Yeah. When you going to actually start the season?
We got, over the summer, I was thinking, this is it. We're going to do this. No.
Yeah.
Then it started getting hot again. Everybody started getting weird.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking the latter part of this season, do half a season starting in February.
Yeah.
And that's if everybody's cool. Play it cool, everybody, and we'll get back to shows. But I got this short list of like small cast unit sets, really well written.
Yeah.
Anywhere between 1 and 4 people plays.
Very cool.
I got one that's for youngins that I'm dying to do. Again, handed to me by Tommy Cooper.
Yeah.
It shocked the pants off of me. I was just like, just because it leads you down one path and then just goes, nope, that's not what this play's about. And you go, what?
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I got a stack, got a short stack. So
cool.
And we're talking about doing some new stuff, new things. But I can tell you that kind of the canary in the cage is watching improv filling that house up again. We're still at limited capacity because we're trying to be responsible. But some of the other auxiliary groups, like just today, I got, word from our headmistress of Dr. Sketchy. She was like, is it cool? You think we could come back and start doing it again? I'm like, heck yeah. As the people start coming out of their whole, coming out and feeling more comfortable.
Right.
I think again is going to.
Groundhog's not seeing its shadow. So it's like, okay, let's come out.
Be the impetus for a restart, a reboot.
That's great. And the improv group performs on first Fridays.
Oh yeah, Schrodinger's Cat every first Friday, 8 and 10.
Yeah.
Every first Friday, 8 and 10, they do extreme theater games, short form, and then every last Friday we do Catharsis, which is kind of a medium form. But I think we might be moving that to the middle of the month.
Okay. And some of the other things, like you said, Dr. Sketchy's is where you have models and people come and they can sketch.
Yeah,
the model
work any medium except photography. And, and we've got Zach McCabe of All Equal Parts. He's been rehabbing our bar because him and his wife were season ticket holders, and of course he's a big bar nerd. Yeah, and it just seeing our bar was driving him crazy. He's like, "Can I please fix this?" We're like, "Yeah, sure." Mm-hmm. So man, he's just he's really done a number on the bar, which I'm sure Danny's been trying to get me to do it for years. And so
right. And then because the first time I saw that was we had the Black Cat Picture Show film festival there at the end of August.
Yes. One of our favorite events.
Yeah, which is such a great thing to see how these measures that you're putting in place are able for people to come and still enjoy the things that they come see, indie film from around the world right here in Augusta.
Isn't that crazy? And we started it.
I know, right?
You did that.
Yeah, I mean it keeps growing every year, and the entries, more and more entries every year, and the quality of those films just keep going up and up. So if you're ever were a film nerd, you definitely need to check out the Black Cat Picture Show at Le Chat Noir. You can find that on the website.
It's
lcnaugusta.com, or you can go to blackcatpictureshow.com.
Blackcatpictureshow.com. It's its own thing now, man. That thing took on a life of its own real quick.
Yeah. So. But it's the thing that I hear from the filmmakers, and this is the testament to you and the board that helps to
he's failing to mention that includes him.
No, I'm just humble. I'm just humble. I'm proud of my humility. Is that the filmmakers that come, they're like, this is one of the best festivals we've ever been to, because it is about the film. It is about the filmmakers. It is about, that passion that got those people into those films. It's not about, flash and show and blah, 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 and
or
all
being
this other
seen.
stuff. Yeah,
a lot of times they feel like they're anonymous, or like
exactly
people watch their own movie, and then they all go to the lobby. And he said everybody watches every movie, and they applaud and they gasp, and you get to hear their reactions. Yeah. And I think you coined the term "New Cinema in the Old South."
Yeah,
and that was, that really put us on the path to having our own identity right out of the gate. We have classy, but we keep that Southern hospitality and that sort of come as you are, comfortable, nobody, but it's still,
Yeah. And like I said, all the reviews that are on like Film Freeway, where the movies are uploaded and stuff like that, it's about, they just made me feel good. They made me feel, whether I won, and it wasn't about, I won the award, so that's why I'm giving this. No, it was just, I was here and they really welcomed me, and they, and that's the feeling that you get at Le Chat, not just at the film festival. You are home. If those are your type of, things that you're into, whether it be the theater, the arts, the, films.
I absolutely love walking out into the lobby and hearing people talk about either the movies that or that block of movies we just watched, or if it's the show, talking about the show, or hearing them talking about the show we did 12 years ago or something, or that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Knowing that some of this stuff sticks with them.
Yeah. And again, I think that is a huge testament to you and what you have built, what you've helped to build there at Le Chat. Another one of the big events that you guys have going on does happen in October. It is the Black Cat Carnival, correct?
Oh, yeah, that's another thing that's got a life of its own. That's where everybody just gets weird. We jokingly call it the Blackout Carnival because people overindulge on is a pretty common theme for that. But yeah, we have sideshow, and we've been doing this one for a while. The actual Halloween party, I think last year was lucky number 13. This will be our 14th year throwing this party. Party actually goes way back. We used to throw this Halloween party back when we were in college, and one friend or another just wouldn't let it die, and now we're the ones not letting it die. But it's the last big blowout we had in 2019. We had blocked off the street. It was well over 500 people there. It was crazy. We do midway games, but it's very adult. Don't anybody thinking you bring your kids to this carnival. Yeah. The games are ridiculous and often lewd and debasing. Yeah. And everybody competes for these little punks. I won't say they're the little cat dolls. And we make a different one every year, and people usually go nuts for them.
Yeah.
But and then we have, like I said, on stage we have sideshow. We have this year we already starting to get a good lineup. Ginger Be Good, she's a legit sideshow performer that was stranded here, during COVID, and we've tried to keep her entertained before she or give her something to do before she cuts out.
Yeah.
And we got a good lineup this year. Almost all girls. I think Jason Cash of Arcane Arts is the only dude on stage this time around.
Wow.
But yeah, doing all kinds of crazy stuff from whip cracking to knife throwing to blockhead, all the classics.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think there's very much a like I said, there is that old school carnival feel about the Black Cat Carnival. Obviously, I mean, it's that, like you said, it's that kind of thing that pops up at the edge of town. Oh yeah, and is there for a night, and then they're rolling out. You know,
well, yeah, because it's a fundraiser. We tell all of our carnies working the Midway, we're like, you got full reign for shenanigans, and just try and rip people off, and they catch you, you're just like, hey, it's for charity.
right.
But I mean, some of the stuff they do is just hilarious.
Yeah. And have concessions and things like that.
Oh yeah,
and all the good
booze, and we do. Well, our signature drink that night is pink lemonade, and it's dangerous because you just can't taste the booze in it, but it's high octane.
Gotcha.
Most people probably that have listened this far probably verping a little bit. Like, oh yeah, I remember that.
And when is the carnival coming?
October 30th. We do it the last Saturday of every. We do it the last Saturday of October, and this year, since it's kind of on the eve of Halloween, it'll turn Halloween at midnight. Chris Berkshire had a fantastic idea. We treat it like a Halloween, like a kind of like a New Year's Halloween, like have a pumpkin drop or something.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that'll be awesome.
Yeah,
the big countdown
to Halloween.
That's awesome. So, if people are interested in that, is it the buy tickets? Is it just walk up?
I was going to say that's what we have found makes for a good party is not charging a cover, and then they can kind of just do what they want to do. They just like a carnival, they buy tickets, and if they want to get into the show, they use their tickets for the show. If they want to play a game, they use their tickets to play a game. Okay. Now, if you want to go to the bar, you have to pay
the cash.
Yeah,
don't take tickets.
We don't take tickets.
Don't take tickets for the bar.
But yeah, and so I mean, it doesn't cost anything to get in, and if you don't like the vibe or like what you're seeing, you can just go to one of the. A lot of folks are doing. But yeah. In fact, that's what we tell most folks. You stop at our place, no cover, so you don't like feel obligated, like, oh man, we paid like $20 to be here or $30 to be here. We got to start. Right. Come hang out. That's your vibe. Move on.
That's awesome. And obviously, costumes are encouraged.
Oh yeah.
Is there a theme this particular year? I know in past they've had some sort of.
We used to do
general
themes, and then we got tired of building stuff every time we had a new theme. We're like, oh my god, Carnival kind of encapsulates it all. But we do have a costume contest and. Halloween royalty like Uli of Vintage Uli. She's always one of our VIPs. But yeah, we have a costume contest and all that, and they win stuff. This year, I think one of the things that we're going to do different is have vendors. We've had some folks that like make creepy props or creepy art that are either friends or friends of friends. Like, hey, you mind if I set up? And we thought, yeah, that'd be kind of cool, kind of like a dark arts in the heart of Augusta.
Oh, I love that. Dark arts in the heart of Augusta.
So, this year we'll have vendors. We might even have a couple of food trucks out there.
Very cool. if they'll show up. No, that's awesome. What? You okay?
No, I just tapped it. I didn't know if you could hear it.
I mean, I did, but I was just making. I thought you had shocked yourself. I just heard that. I was like, no, I've killed him. No, that's awesome. So October 30th at Le Chat Noir, come on down.
Yeah, no cover.
If you're an adult,
8 p.m. till
whenever.
Whenever-ish.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And again, check out the website. Find out more about what's going on. I would say you guys have a Facebook presence and an Instagram presence, and we'll put those links and stuff in the show notes and stuff. Of course, all that stuff is shut down today. Today was the big, social media blackout. So
I mean, I got okay with it real quick though. I was like,
I'm not checking my phone every 4 seconds. This is great. Yeah. So we'll put all the links and stuff in there as well. Krys, you aside from all of this great stuff you do for the city and that you have going on down at Le Chat, is there anything else that you were just like digging on right now, like in the non-Lachette times, which I know that's not much, but I mean, like any like books you're really digging on, or TV shows or series you're binging or anything like that?
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is, things that you would not give a shit about had COVID not happened. And, really digging this homesteading thing, man. I'm into, because of COVID, we all had to stay home. So doing this, a bit of homesteading, growing stuff in the backyard, growing tea.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Got a worm farm in the little back, and my kid just, and wife, we've got our tiny little oasis in the backyard, and that's what we're into right now.
How is tea growing? What is that process about? That just seems so interesting.
Just by accident, there's this great, there's a lot of great nurseries around here, but one of them's called Trusty Farms, and the dude he's like a botanist, got his degree at UGA, and he's bringing all these crazy plants from all over the world that just grow in this region, in this
particular climate that we're in, and all this.
They're crazy, man. Like pink blueberries and blue bananas, and it's just crazy stuff. Carnivorous plants, you name it. The guy's got all this. And I was looking up some of the plants that we originally bought because they looked cool, and it was like, oh yes, it says mild sedative. You make tea out of it, and I was like, really? Double checked, triple checked, and and then started getting into that. And then when I went back to Trusty Farms, I was like, what can I make tea out of? And I ended up coming home and putting several of these plants in the ground, and kind of digging it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Is there a process to that? Is it like you harvesting green leaves, or you'd have to dry them?
Pretty much. And it is just that simple.
Pour hot water.
Yep.
Wow.
Don't make it too complicated.
That is too cool. That is too cool.
But yeah, like I said, shit, I would not have ever dreamed that would interest me until COVID hit.
Is there anything that, and as we're talking about COVID and things that have changed, what things did you discover about yourself, that maybe you didn't realize? That
we were all, I think everyone was working too hard. I know everybody's like pissed off that people don't want to go back to work, but I mean, and it's not that so much as I really value my time doing things that I enjoy with people I love. I always made that like a third or fourth priority. Now it's my number one priority, and work as long as there's a balance, that it's sustaining and it's perpetual. We're good. Bills are getting paid. Great. But I think realizing that I was almost obsessive about getting this or that done and making it happen and dragging all my family and friends along with it. And now it's like, hey, you know what? Like, let's all chill out and go camping one weekend, or let's hang out here. Let's do that. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I definitely a shift in priorities. I'm happier for it. I'm much happier for it. It sounds real selfish and twatty to say there's a silver lining in a fucking pandemic, but that's kind of and I'm not saying there is. I'm just saying that's one of the things that I think one of the very few things that came of it that I can say is positive is it made me realize how much more important mental health is, and spending time with the ones you love.
Hey, Krys. This is the second segment of the show. This is the time where we like to dive in a little bit deeper. We get a little bit more serious about the topic of mental health. Me personally, I deal with depression, down days. It's one of those things where I will maybe dive into and try and focus on something else to kind of keep my mind off of that stuff. Because generally I'm a very positive person. I like to entertain. I like to bring happiness to others. But sometimes there are things going on inside that you might not be able to tell on the outside. But it's all part of how we deal with this. And how do you stay positive, and how do you keep the dark at bay?
Oh, I think that's pretty obvious. Volumes of alcohol and constant masturbation.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. That's a really complicated question. I mean, on the surface, I've got a beautiful wife and kid, and it's impossible for me to be depressed around them. Mm. No matter how much I want to have a pity party, I can't around my little girl. Just I'm incapable of doing it. It's not like I have to deny myself my pity party. No, right. I'm like, oh, you silly little shit. Before I know it, I'm giggling, and I'm not even thinking about whatever it was. But I think as I've grown older, and this was even before the COVID, I was realizing like 9 times out of 10, the depression was kind of self-inflicted, and then you just carry it around and make more and more and more out of it. And so I tried to dissect it, and here's the things you do have control over, and here's the things you can change. And once I started taking ownership of the things that I could do, I'm not saying it kept me out of trouble so much as it made me realize that when I'm sitting there by myself and I'm just depressed as shit, I'm doing it to myself. Ain't nobody around. Nobody's messing with me. It's nobody else's fault. I'm the one that just keeps digging that hole. And so I think just I know it sounds easier than it is, but I make that choice to stop punishing, not be unhappy. And it's not selfish. It's just, in fact, it's unselfish because I'm going to go do something for somebody else. I stop thinking about me and stop thinking about poor old me, and I go do something for someone else, and I've forgotten about it, or it's at least subsided. So I guess taking ownership in the things that you can control and can change. I feel like depression more and more the way I've gotten it out of my head is by deciding not to be a miserable fuck. Yeah. So,
no, I mean that's a very valid thing. Identifying it, I've said that before. When you realize it's there and you name it and you take that power away from it, like you said, changing the things that you can, that I think that then takes the pressure off to try and change things that you can't, that you don't have control over.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Shit, man. Being an actor as well, being a director, do you find that those down times though help you to draw from certain things, like when you are like deciding on how to approach a character or to direct a certain scene or something like that?
Absolutely. As an actor, I mean, in the capacity of actor, I'm always banking even the weirdest of thoughts, because I'll use it all. Nothing's sacred in my head when I'm on stage, and when I'm directing. Another thing is realizing that everyone feels this way at some point, and I would say, man, a big part of directing is being able to communicate to your actors, what we need, where we need to go with this, or if you're trying to get them past some subtext that's tripping them up, or if you're just trying to shape the vision or something, and it helps you, helps you communicate that with your actors. Like if you can bank whatever that weird feeling, like, and then suddenly you felt, God, man, I shouldn't be thinking about that. That's weird. I'm weird. Oh my God, this is Nutso Town. It's taking some of that, and you can, say, talk your actor through it and get what you need out of them. So yeah, no, constantly. Unfortunately, I think a lot of the really good stuff, art wise, comes from the negative feelings, and it speaks to a lot of people. I guess as well it should, because at that point they're emotionally vulnerable, and that's what we don't like to be. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the best art comes from those low points, I think. Yeah.
Kind of one of those things where it holds that mirror up to life, as they say, and sometimes we don't want to look at that.
Oh yeah.
But that's what helps us to make those connections, those commonalities, those realizations that And there are other people that are going through the same stuff I'm going through.
Well, and we get so used to hiding it. I mean, in our real lives off stage, we get so used to burying it, hiding it, and putting on the brave face, or we don't want anybody to think that anything's wrong with me. And you find that a lot of those folks have been doing that for so long. When they get on stage, sometimes they have, well, most of the time they have trouble reaching any sort of emotional depth, not because they're not feeling it, because they're just so damn entrenched and conditioned to not show it, that they have a very difficult time reaching any depth of emotion. And then you've got a handful of folks that, man, once they flip the switch, it's like, whoa, hey, reel it in. But yeah, people are strange.
But I mean, the comfort is that we're all strange.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing.
This is one of the cool things in this. The other thing that's got me jazzed lately is rejoining the improv troupe, just because I'd forgotten just how much fun it is and how creative and how different it is than just regular script acting out of a script. And and working with folks like Amy Patton and Tom Colchin and Ryan and Michael and all these folks, it's very inspirational. Mm-hmm. And this new show that we do, we take people's stories. They get up there and tell stories from when they, their first kissed or their first fight, or this time I got this arrested, or some bad poetry they wrote when they were a teenager. And one of the things that we're starting to realize is that everybody has done some awkward shit like this, that everybody in the room, they're complete strangers, but they can all, they all have this in common. Of course, then, the back line, we get up and make a short play out of it. And it's not a mockery. It's usually it's something that runs parallel to it and comedic. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what we're finding is, that everybody has these really weird, awkward points in their life. I mean, of course they do. And sharing them is just, it's fantastic. Some of the stories these people tell. Yeah. And everybody realizing, as weird as that is, yeah, I might have done something like that myself.
All right, Krys, this is the third segment of the show. This is the Fast Five. This is the Fast Five. I don't have a theme song yet. Still working on it. Oh, okay. So that's still working. I'm workshopping some stuff there. But this is the Fast Five, powered by Poddex. It's an app for podcasters. It's interview questions, discussion starters. But it's great. Like if you ever need like an icebreaker before you talk to your Rotary Club or something, you can check out.
How old are you, Rob?
for the what is it, the 4A? Before the 4A, cow judging, you can get an icebreaker. But if you check out chewinthefatbr.com /poddex and enter the promo code CHEW, you get 10% off your decks. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the randomizer here and just give me your first answer off the top of your head. No wrong answers. Yeah. And let's see what we get here on question 1. What do people ask for your help with?
Tying their shoes. No, this is my little girl.
That's really important, though. That's really important.
Usually a production or a special effect, something for their film or play.
Yeah,
yeah. They want some sort of special effect, or want to borrow something from the shop or something.
Mm-hmm. So, I know for a fact you're kind of the king of blood around. And blood effects. And of course, with folks like, it was more film is coming into town, and especially with like Stephen and Dan at Wages of Sin and stuff like that. I feel like I hear your name thrown around a lot when they're in need of like blood effects and stuff like that. Do you have a secret recipe for your blood?
I do. I've got recipes for different kinds of blood.
Oh,
coagulating blood, free flowing blood. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It gets weird.
That's awesome that you have a recipe book for your blood. That's really cool, though. All right. Question number 2. Would you rather your eyes have night vision capabilities or your ears have sonar capabilities?
Oh man. Definitely eyes with the night vision. I don't even know what I'd do with sonar.
Yeah, I feel like that. I already have tinnitus, so I figure that would drive me nuts.
It
would drive me nuts to be able to hear everything. So
yeah, I'm not going to be catching moths and eating them, so I'm not sure.
I would definitely agree with you on night vision for sure. All right, question number 3. If you could be reincarnated as an animal, what animal would you choose?
Oh, definitely a cat.
No.
I mean, mine get treated like royalty. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Any particular type of cat?
I don't know. Those Maine Coon looks pretty. They look pretty sick.
Yeah,
they're pretty badass.
Maine Coon.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Or maybe one of those little hairless cats. That's probably the luck I get. Is one of those little hairless cats. Those sickly poor little bastards. They're adorable, dude.
And question number 4. Would you rather have Morgan Freeman narrate your life out loud for everyone to hear, or have a theme song played whenever you walk?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think Mr. Freeman would really get sick of my foolishness quick. So, and I think theme music, just because, that could be fun to play with. Definitely. I might exercise more if
like the Rocky theme starts playing.
Yeah.
You start to Eye of the Tiger or something like that. That's
there's probably, I don't know, man. At my age, there's probably a lot of tuba in that.
I was going to say
there's a lot of tuba sounds in that.
Yeah, for sure. That would be me. I think Morgan Freeman, like I said, would be at some point. You'd be like, "All right, I need a moment to myself, Morgan." And Rob needed a moment to himself. All right, and question number 5. What futuristic thing from a sci-fi movie or book do you really wish existed right now?
Oh, man, probably that little like the medical bay thing from like I guess would it be Star Trek where they could just run it over you and
little scanner thing,
and pretty much take out all the bad stuff.
So not like the tricorder that's actually scanning you for what's wrong, but you need something to actually fix.
Yeah, isn't that
whatever's going on?
Or maybe a teleporter. Teleporter would be nice too, wouldn't it? Spend so much time on a plane with.
Yeah, I definitely am team teleporter.
Team teleport.
I'm team. It's me personally. You can have your medical spanner thing. So I just.
But isn't it where they could separate out all the bad stuff? I think
that's true. Yeah, that way go. Oh, you got something.
Cancer. Just fucking leave that.
Let's just leave that when I'm just going to France for a moment and get rid of my cancer in the trip. It's like, as long as you didn't catch it on the way back. It's just held in stasis there, and you come back from France. Oh, crap.
Nobody cleaned this up?
Dang it, come on.
There's still a fifth of vodka on the floor here.
My liver is clean. It's amazing. All right, Krys. That is it. That's our show. That is the Fast Five. And thank you so much for being here, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
No, this was great. Thank you. If folks want to find out more about Le Chat Noir, they can find that at the website lcnaugusta.com, as well as all of the social media links and stuff like that.
The Instagrits, the Snapdragons,
exactly. All of that stuff. Do you partake of any social media personally?
I got my personal Facebook account where I just pretty much, because we got family all over the place in the West Coast stuff, so we keep, here's pictures of baby and things. And then we got the business profile that I think John Hutchins started for us so many years ago.
Oh, well.
And keep up with that, but that's about it.
Okay. Well, if folks want to find you, like I said, I'll put the links in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here and taking some time, as precious commodity as it is. You could be doing a bunch of other stuff. I appreciate you being here and hanging out with me.
And we're having breakfast sometime this month.
Yes, we'll have breakfast for sure. Thank you so much, Krys, for being here.
Thank you, sir.
If you would like to support this podcast, please, you can buy me a coffee at chewingthefatbr.com. And until next time, I look forward to we can sit a spell and chew the fat.